Vehicle stability control. Yeah, it's a great thing to have. I'm glad it's on there. It keeps me out of trouble. The only problem is there's no way to shut it off without going into four-wheel drive. So on the 07, I think the 08 and 09, and maybe the 10, there's no way to shut it off. I do know that mine definitely, the 07, I think the 08, there's no way to shut the vehicle stability control off. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. Okay, like most of you guys right now, with the vehicle stability control on, if you go to jump out of an intersection, you guys know what I'm talking about. You get those two lanes that make a left turn, but the right lane is the one that everybody needs, so every jerking their brother's in the left lane, they go flipping around, they cut you off. Well, it's nice to be able to, you know, get out in, not a rush or a hurry, but get out and maintain the side-to-side position with the car next to you. So yeah, he's got to either get behind or pull his head out of his butt next time and make sure he's in the right lane. So if I do it now with this, the way it's set up, the vehicle stability control kicks in, I lose power, it puts the brakes on, and needless to say, it looks like my car is dying. But if I go into four-wheel drive, and then of course then you'll see the vehicle stability control off. Now that's all fine and dandy, but who wants to keep going into four-wheel drive, which is usually what I do. The only thing that's going to be different, when I tap into this one wire down there, it's a blue with a yellow stripe, I'll actually lose my ABS brakes also. So let's go ahead and just get this thing moving around here. And of course the dash is back to normal, back in two-wheel drive. So basically guys, I'm showing you how to do this. However, I got to put a disclaimer in there. I wouldn't advise driving around like that. It's something the vehicle didn't come with, okay? And if you get in an accident, the insurance companies can go ahead and cry and make a fuss, and well, you shut it off, you modified it, you didn't have anti-lock brakes, because that's the one thing also with this mod you're going to lose is the anti-lock brakes when this wire is basically interrupted. Again, it's nice to be, if you guys that live up north like to play in the snow, you'll be able to do that now, donuts, all the rest of it, play on the beach. And for me, being able to get out of an intersection without having some chowderhead cut me off, that's why I'm basically doing it. It'd be nice to have a little control over it. Most of the time, I'd say probably 99% of the time, I'll be driving around in the normal mode that we're all used to with the vehicle stability control on. However, for those times when I really need it, I can basically hit the switch, interrupt it, do what I'm doing, then hit the switch and go back to normal. So again, if you get into an accident and the insurance company somehow finds out that you modified it, you could get yourself into some hot water. So that's just a disclaimer. For me, I know it's in there. It's real easy to put back to normal. I'm actually going to use, let's see here, one of these blanks down here. And I'm probably going to I may move this one to here and then take the blank out and put this new one here. I got this set up right now where it's only on, even with the dash lights on, when I put my driving lights on. It's not the fog lights. I mean the big off-road lights that you can buy as a kit. These are the ones I have inside the front bumper. So again, this is kind of install at your own risk. For me, it's pretty easy. If I ever go to sell the vehicle, I can even just tie the wires together, put the blank back in, and nobody will ever know it was modified. But I want to be able to have control over it. So let's get started and see how this works out. Alright, so I actually bought this switch on Amazon. Boy, that's a new one, huh? You using Amazon? Anyway, $19.99, no tax, free shipping. Comes with the pigtail and all that stuff. I'm going to use this 9-volt battery to kind of play with the wires and see the way I want to wire it, and to see exactly how the lights on here are going to light up for, basically the way I was talking. I'd like it to be completely dark, even with the dash lights on, whenever the vehicle stability control is normal, and I'd like the whole thing to light up, if I can, whenever I've interrupted it. And that way it lets me know, danger, Will Robinson, that basically I have this switch on, and in case I can't see it on the dash, lets me know that I definitely have this. So some of the things that you'll need, I'm going to use this 9-volt battery to go ahead and play with this and see what the lights do. Good old multimeter is always good. A pair of strippers, and let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so you basically start by taking this sill up. This little guy right here. Easy enough. It just goes underneath here. It actually channels in snaps into place. So start from the front, basically unsnap it, and then you have this little kick plate panel here. That's pretty easy. It has a couple of tabs on the front that you just kind of go ahead and pull out of these little clips here, and that takes that off. And what I'm going to be working on is this wire bundle right here, and actually toward the back. Okay, so I need to dig out the wire I need to go ahead and cut. Some people cut it on this side. I'd rather cut it on that side. Actually just break the connection, and then I'm going to extend it with 2 pieces of wire. And then, like I said, if I ever want to put it back to normal, I can just go in there and actually splice the cut back together again with the 2 pieces of wire I'm going to extend it on. And of course, what I'm going to be doing is running those wires all the way up and into this little spot right here. So I don't know if I can do this with one hand. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way again. Alright, so you get a nice firm grip, and you just pull it up at an angle, and those little pink tabs there will basically snaps out. And this allows me to get my fingers around and inside of here to go ahead and pop out that switch I have, and maybe see what I can do about swapping that around. I think I want the driving light, actually fog light switch that's inside the bumper on the inner portion. So let me go ahead and do that, and then of course I'll be coming up on the other one with this new switch. So let's see what we can come up with. Alright, this switch over here, this is what I did. So it's the second red from the left and the green wire spliced together. That allows me to have the VSC on all the time, and when I activate the switch, then the little car here with the swivelies go ahead and lights up, letting me know that I have it engaged. This one here just goes to ground, so I'll find a place to go ahead and put that. Again, to the feed side, and then the one red all by itself just goes to the part that would be going into that wire bundle, heading toward the actual connector. So power side, this one here is going to be the load side, and shouldn't be too bad. First thing I want to do is get that cut and extended so I can go ahead and play with the wires with the car running to see what kind of indications I get. Alright, so I got black, blue, yellow, and red. These are basically just some wires. I think I bought this from, oh my god, I don't know if it was Amazon, it could have been Harbor Freight Tools. I'm not sure, but buying it in bulk like that, it was really, really cheap. I think all this wire here was, God, I want to say probably $19.99 or something like that. So it's pretty good wire. It's basically what I'm going to use. Over here off the switch, black is going to go to black. The power, which is red and green, I'm going to use red for. And the load, yellow load, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put yellow on here. So I'll go ahead and get this all tied up. Actually get these spliced in first so I can basically play with that circuit and make sure I know what it does. And then I can just go ahead and wire this in, and it shouldn't be really that long today. Even though it's a 12-volt system, when you're checking out switches and LEDs, you can just use a little old 9-volt here. Usually they're about 10 volts, which that one is, even though it's a 9-volt. And it's plenty to go ahead and test things without using your car battery or something like that. So let's go ahead and get in there and cut that wire to see what's going on and get these extended on there. So I'll cut the wire, get them extended, and then I'll go ahead and show you from there, because there's really not a whole lot of room, especially my girth up in my shoulders and stuff. I need to just get one shoulder and one arm in there, but never both. So let me go ahead and get done. I'll let you guys see what's going on. Alright, just due to the fact that there's more room, I'm basically going to make the splice on this side. So it's that top connector, and right there in the middle is the blue with the yellow stripe. So I'm going to basically go ahead and cut that, and then splice on my 2 extension wires so I can use that to open and close the circuit to make sure I see what's going on. Alright, so let's get that cut, let's get it spliced in. Okay, to give myself more room to play with, I went ahead and just disconnected that plug. Of course, I'll get some dielectric grease on that before I put it back together. And on the very top is the blue and the yellow. So that's what I'm going to cut and go ahead and extend. So let's go ahead and get that done. Some old school cribs. I would rather have soldered and use some heat shrink. But man, everything is so darn close together. It'd be so easy to burn a wire and then make a mess of this whole thing. So I went ahead and used some good crimps and extended. Again, this is the load this goes to. And then this one here is the, this should be the power side here. So I'll go ahead and check that all with a voltmeter and everything before I do anything. And then I'll go ahead and start checking what happens. So I need to go ahead and get this little white plug back in, so at least the rest of the system is normal. Dielectric grease is back in there. Looks like the plug is back in. The wires are extended. And I can go ahead and start taking some measurements now, see what I can come up with. And of course I'll have to run these wires up and tie wrap them, make them all look good and all the rest of it. So let's go ahead and press on. Okay, just as advertised, take a voltmeter, and off of the red is 12 volts. And the load side, which is a yellow, is basically the one that's going to get hooked up to the switch the way I talked about. So right now, everything is normal. When I hit the switch and disconnect the wires, this is what you get. So you're going to get the ABS, the VSC off, and the car with the little squirrely lines, and it'll actually line up with the way I have the wire switch. So when that's on, the light portion of that is going to mimic what's on the switch. And again, it's running. You don't have to stop and get out and restart and none of that stuff. If I go ahead and hook this back up, and it's out. Disconnected, it's on. So again, removing this vent cover here allows you to get your fingers back in here, and you're able to pop these switches out with no problem. I took the little dummy blank out, which I always say because I use these things for all kinds of stuff, and move the inboard for the driving lights that are inside the bumper, and this is where we're going to put our VSC one here. I like to use a handy dandy white coat hanger that's been modified. So if you guys ever get these from the cleaners or wherever, it's always good to make a couple of these up and then keep them. Don't just toss them. Go ahead and save them for when you have to do some fishing, which is what I'm going to do. What the heck, since I'm here. So these are the main ones on the bumper itself, the off-road. These are the driving lights. These are really bright. I took this all apart and mounted those to the metal part of the bumper that's in there, and that's the switch that's going to be right next to the VSC. So that's what I was saying. As far as your blanks go, always keep them. You never know what you're going to need them for. So after I put this VSC in, I don't think I have any more. That's the last of my blanks. And if I ever need to add anything else, it'll have to go on here. I don't intend to put anything else. Don't really need it. But at least everything will be used up. Alright, let's press on. Let's get these wires fixed and get this thing buttoned up. Look at that. Nice, beautiful, rainy day to be doing this stuff inside. Unfortunately, if the wind blows the wrong way and it starts coming in the garage, I don't want to get soaked with all this stuff around. I might have to shut it, which means it's going to get warm. Okay, so what you do, of course, is you fish down. When you send it down, you send the black down. That way I can go down and find out a good place to hook it up to a good ground. Bring it back up, fish these back up, and there's all your wires. So all I need to do now is go in and straighten things up with some of these. I like to use a wire tie gun. That way it's nice and tight and it's perfectly cut off. That way you won't end up reaching and actually gouging your hand up someday. Harbor Freight Tool special. I'll go ahead and get this all cleaned up, get it all buttoned up. And also, guys, when you go ahead and do your switches, allow a little extra. You can always just push it back in there. It's nothing worse than having just enough wire, and then later on, you just don't have enough to do anything else. So remember, don't back yourself into a corner by cutting those wires too short. You can always just shove them right in there. So one of the things I like to do is take some of the extra wire, make a 360 curl, tie wrap that, some heat shrink, some more tie wrap. Basically had these bands here about every 6 or 7 inches all the way down, so that way if I look up there I know it's a group and not just some wire that's dangling there that was added. Still need to button it up underneath, but I just wanted to show you guys this is just one of the ways. I basically do this that way it's all nice and tight, and again you leave yourself some extra room. Okay, so that's what you have. And when that's lit up, let you know where it's at. The dash is actually showing that the vehicle stability control is on. You hit this, everything is shut off. So basically, the way it worked out, my 9-volt battery didn't give me the whole thing like the 12-volt did. So basically, when this is dim, that means it is off. When this is bright, that means it's on. And it coincides with what's on the dash. So this will be kind of neat. I don't have to worry about, again, pulling out and having the stability control kick in and kill the power and throw the brakes on and all that. So that's it. And as far as down here goes, everything all done up there. Just the connections there. What kicked my butt was this one screw here. I've got my ground under. The small screw that was in it from the factory stripped out, so I had to put a giant screw in, something with a bit more bite to it, and that's where I got my ground at from. So that's basically it. I go ahead and button this all up. Yeah, it's on all the time, but that's okay. I can handle that, other than trying to tear the center apart and run wires all over the place. Again, when it's on here, that means the stability control is active. When I shut it off, it's almost like it's transferring. Now on that side there, that little car with the squiggly, that's saying everything's off. Right there, everything's on. And that's everything all buttoned up. It's all put back together. I like these rugged ridge. I even got the liner for the back. It goes all the way across over the hump. Pretty cool stuff and not that expensive. I just kind of liked it better than the that other company. They advertise it all the time. They're pretty nice, but I really like this one here. Okay, that's it. So at least you can see all the spots are full. Everything's all back, and at least now I can shut the stability control off anytime I want. Alright, it's right under the hood. It's not a big deal, but I didn't like the fact that the lines were rubbing up against the metal, so I just added some grommets. I just happen to have a whole bunch of them, so I went ahead and did that. Not a big deal, but it's just something I wanted to do. Next is going to be modifying this battery terminal. Even though it's all drilled and slotted and everything else, I have a better idea I'm going to be doing with this as soon as that comes in the mail. So I'll keep you guys posted on how to clean something like that up, make it a bit nicer. Last but not least is this organizer back here. I had one in the wrong way and it was chewing up too much room. I got lucky too. It was $59.95. Amazon had it for $49.95. And then out of nowhere comes this coupon for $10, so I got it for $39.95. And it's actually pretty cool. That's the company there. It comes with this cooler here that you can unfold, put ice or whatever, sodas and all that stuff. So that's kind of nice. It opens up a lot of room for me. Again, don't forget that I told you that it shuts off the anti-lock brakes, and if you had this on and got into an accident or something, like, you could get yourself into trouble. But it is nice to be able to have the ability to switch between the two if you wanted to. Anyway, guys, that's about it. I will go ahead and get this online. I got a couple other mods on the way, and I'll show you that as I progress. That's it for today. Okay, of course, I got all the wires tidied up. I was in the house having dinner, and I thought, you know what? I don't like the way this came out. So I went ahead and cut that wire right there. That's the one that goes to the lamp and should be actually connected to the dash lights. And then, goofy me, I just realized that the dimmer for the dash lights are right here. So I went ahead and popped that out. And it's the green wire right here. So I'm going to connect that wire there to this one here. And that should basically do it. Then I can have the one main light on there that says VSC, basically hooked to the dash lights. And then when I hit the switch and shut it off, the car with the little squiggly lines underneath it, that's what will light up. So that's what I'm doing, connecting this green wire here to this one here. The one on the inside, I capped it off. Yeah, it's in here somewhere. I capped it off, and that way there it can't ground out or anything. So just a different power supply for the lamp. And let's see how that works. Okay, that's a bit better. So this is what we'll normally get. When everything is fine, that's lit up, telling you that it's in this position here, so everything's normal. Once you hit this, it basically shuts this off, and of course you get the ABS anti-skid VSC off, which is what I was shooting for. Again, back to normal. What I wanted was, anytime you put the lights on, you get that little VSC at the bottom. That way at nighttime you can actually see it, as if you couldn't see this, right? I just think it's a bit cooler. So behind this is the green wire. That's actually your panel lights. And it was really easy to get to. Just pop this guy off here. You can pull this out a little bit here, and you can get behind and take the connectors out. It didn't take that long at all. Alright, so that's the new and improved one. So I'll kind of put this at the end of the video so you guys can have a look. And, oh, I'm sorry, this is what I did for my driving lights too. The ones that are inside the bumper, when that's on, they're on. And real quick, when I said I capped that one wire off, this is what I like to use. It's a dead end and it's crimpable. So I just put that over it and crimp this on. That way there's no way that that can make any contact with any grounds behind the dash.